Hi, guys. I am Stefani Dunn, and this is Joel Dunn. And we are excited to have an amazing Zoom tonight with a rock star that's been around for a little bit. Can't wait to hear from her. Jackie's been just an incredible leader, incredible friend. She's the real deal. Like, this is the thing. I'm going to ask you guys, do you want to hear from somebody that is just super authentic? If you do, drop a 1 in the chat. I think this is something that sometimes we're like, oh my gosh, we see Stefani and Joel and they're number one earners and you have to be this certain way. And what I love about this business is when we got started, thankfully, nobody judged our situation. Nobody judged who we were or what we did. And with this, like you never know who's looking for something. And so when Joel and I got started, we had businesses. The market crashed, and on the outside, we looked like we had it together, but really we needed more. We didn't know that it was going to come from the form of It Works, but we're so grateful that the gift was given to us and there was no judgment, right? And the products worked. And here we are almost to say 15 years, 14 and a half years. So yes, the products are amazing. The compensation plan is amazing. And Jacquie knows how to work all of these things. So that was a little bit about us. We got started just, maybe to make $1,000 and so much more. So don't judge anybody right now, especially I think with the holidays, coming, people are saying, oh, I need to wait maybe on product or whatever that is. It's just a cue to offer the business opportunity. You just never know who's going to do that. But enough about that, because I'm super excited to have Jacquie come on. I gave her a little bit of a questions, but when I've been around for quite a while, and I say that 14 years, I've seen people come into this business. And when I got down for the first time our chat, I'll never forget chatting with Jacquie and her hubby, or, early, I don't know if they were married yet or they are married. Anyway, husband to me. And she reminded me so much of myself. And she's just a worker, you guys. And I think that that's what she brings to the table tonight, is just showing you like anybody can come into this being themselves, just making a decision, and a hard work ethic. Like that's what she is. And I just love that about her. So Jacquie, can you unmute yourself? Maybe.
There we go. Thank you.
I was like, where is she?
Oh. How are you guys?
Good. So tell everybody a little bit about your story and how long you've been in, and, what you're going at. And then we'll get down to some questions, because I just love that you're just like straight to the point. Like that's me. Some people just need to hear that. So share a little bit about you.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me on here. I'm very honored. Like Steph said, my name is Jacquie. I've been in the business for almost 7 years, which is crazy. Sometimes I have these moments where I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't think I've done anything in my life for 7 years ever. And, if I were, I guess my story was 7 years ago, I saw a lady doing this. She actually reached out to me. So put a 1 in the chat if somebody's ever told you no before. I told her no. At the time I was, working at TELUS, which is like, if you're in the States, it's like AT&T. I was selling cell phones and internet, and I was always serving at nights. I literally, dropped out of high school, didn't really have a clear path. Not out of high school. Sorry, I didn't drop out of high school. I dropped out of university. I finished high school regardless. But anyways, and so I was kind of lost. This lady reached out to me. On paper, it looked like I had everything going on. I was working a good job. My partner, Mike, was driving trains for the railway. So he was working all the time, in a really good bracket of income, but we were just broke. I don't know really how that happened. Bad decisions, interest, ignoring debt, all these things, compounded. And then you just wake up one day and you're in this situation where you're like, man, how am I going to get out of this? And I kind of ignored it for a long time. I'm like, I'll just ignore it. And then hopefully it just solves itself. It never solved itself. Life went on. And then we got to this point, it was like a fork in the road where we found out that I was pregnant, and we were always, obviously wanting to start a family, but I wasn't one of those people that was planning it all. And it was just like, oh my gosh, we're starting a family. And this is when the math for me it really hit me in the face. I would be working all the time away from my kid. I was already living paycheck to paycheck. And now I'm supposed to pay for daycare, which not only financially we couldn't do, but broke my heart. I didn't want to have a child just to be away from them. I wanted to be with them, be there for their first laugh. I wanted to be there for their first walk and all these things. And I literally remember feeling so rock bottom. And I've had a few different rock bottoms in my life. I've gone through addiction, so if anyone's gone through that, I just feel like I had to say this tonight, because the point being, you can feel so low sometimes when things are happening in your life, whether it's stuff that you've gone through or current situations. Congratulations. Current situations or things that like hurt your ego even. And then you come to this point where you feel so low and you just have to make a decision. Like, I'm either going to fight this through, or I'm going to fight. It was hard being there, and it's hard going after something like this. And so I just had this moment of like rock bottom, knowing I had a kid that I had to take care of, okay, it's time to do something different. So anyways, I finally reached back out to this girl that had followed up with me for 3 years. And I just said, I'm ready to go. Joined. A week later, she leaves the company. I'm like, are you for real? I literally watched you for 3 years. In a week, I'm like, is it me? Anyway, so she goes. And then again, another fork in the road. I'm saying this because you're going to have forks in the road. You have to make the decision. Made the decision. I just had this mindset of, if it's been done before, it can be done. Like, the world is abundant. There's 8 billion people and growing on this planet. If it's been done once before, I don't care anybody that says it can't happen. If somebody says, yes, it can, like persistent consistency, like that's the magic equation for you to get what you want. I just decided to see it through. And, to wrap up my story, after 1 month, my first paycheck was $30. And I was like, this sucks, but I'm going to put gas in my car. I was so grateful. Month 3, made $700, and I was pumped. And then, 5 months in, and then a year, like everything just changed over the course of time. Like, I came home to both my kids. My fiance, after a year and a half, left his career to be home. We've been doing this for 5 years now. We were able to like pick up from Canada. Oh, I live in Canada, by the way. We were able to leave Canada, go to Mexico for a year, like just live our dream life. And none of it would be possible if it wasn't for It Works. It's completely changed us in every single way. Financially, the people that we've met, like my best friends are in this business, sidelines. It's given me so much. It's just made me a stronger person. It's made me a more confident person. I think that when you can see something through and keep the promises to yourself, it's like the person that you become on the journey. I don't think the goal is diamond. The goal isn't whatever, like maybe that's the goal, but more importantly, when you see something like this through, your life will transform in so many ways that it's just crazy. And so, yeah, I mean, it's been 7 years. That's pretty much my story in a nutshell, almost 7 years. And, really excited about where the company is going, and like all the rank, like everything they're doing, I'm just so excited about. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
And I love it because, first off, you guys, she is one of the top 20 going to the CEO summit. So, she's not just out there doing the things, like she's really doing the things. Like, she's out there sharing and in the trenches with her team and with us. And I love that because you're constantly learning. You are always hungry. Always, you guys, this is a clue. She's always asking me something. She's always willing to be on any Zoom that she can be, because she knows that it's just going to not only better her, but it might not even be for her. It might be just for her team to be able to share with that. So, obviously get on the Zooms, because it's not always about you. It's about what can you do for someone else. And so you've always been like that. So you guys, congratulate her. That's a big deal. 20 people out of thousands and thousands of people. And, her journey hasn't always been easy. People have left. She stayed the course when it could be easy just to quit. And so when she's saying forks in the road, coming in new, you may not even know what that means yet, but it's not always going to be rainbows and unicorns. And you might get, coming in as a new person or whatever and hearing no right away. Don't be discouraged by that, because we all have those moments. And that's what we get to decide. Are we going to keep going, or are we just going to quit? It's easy to quit. It's a decision that, how can we get through this? Because every single top leader, top earner, top winner in anything, it will tell you they've been told no, they've had people leave, they've been told they're crazy. I mean, all of the things that you could be possibly thrown at. I'm not going to tell you that's not going to happen, because it will, because this is so different. But what I love about this is the opportunity to change your life financially, that there's no other industry in the world that can do this. And so I love that you said there's no college degree. You don't have to have a degree. You don't have to come from a wealthy family, nothing. You get to decide what you get to do. And I love that, because your work ethic gets to write your check. It gets to write your freedom. You get to decide what you want to do with this and how far you want to go. And there's a lot on the table, you guys, right now. We got BOGOs. We've got, things out there available for you. There's bonuses that you also be pushing for. If you're new, maybe you're going for that $500 Ruby bonus. If you don't even know what that is and you're new and you're like, what is this? Get with the person that enrolled you or on the team page to find out, how can I earn that $500 or $800 builder bonus this month, because it's possible with the rest of the month. So Jacquie, you are always building, you're always helping your team. So I asked you this question: what are, being that you're in the top 20 and getting into the CEO Summit, what are some things that you do daily, 3 to 5 things that are non-negotiable for your business?
So the first one would be, I know this sounds very like everyone says, but personal development. What I've learned, I'm a very red personality. So sometimes I look at personal development like it's not making me money, so I don't have time. Like if you're going for a goal, but like I've learned the hard way that you really do have to, and you've never arrived. Like you always need, like if you're not filling your ears and your brain intentionally with something good, by default, you are going to get hit with the bad stuff, whether that's other people's energy, whether that's failures that you take as like defeat. So number one is personal development. And it's just listening to a book. I'm not necessarily the biggest reader I've ever met, but just something, even if it's just typing in the word motivation, set yourself up to win. If you're drinking your coffee, motivation on YouTube. What you repeatedly do, over and over and over again is going to build the muscle. So I know for sure I would have quit if I didn't do this over the years. Something would have taken me out. So number one. Number two, I believe that if you want to get results and enroll consistently, you have to be doing the core 4. So posting, and I'll kind of, go into these a little bit deeper, but posting, growing your network, having conversations, and following up. Now, when it comes to posting, there's reels, there's stories, there's posting on your wall. The biggest thing when it comes to posting is knowing who you're talking to. Okay. So who are you and what is your message? Who are you talking to? And there will be different messages and different, audiences based on, how you're building this business. So for example, who I'm talking to when my posts are catered towards a potential distributor is going to be a different post than what it would be trying to bring in customers. Like just because I'm posting about products, it doesn't mean that people know there's a business opportunity and vice versa. So for example, when we talk about posting for distributors, it's not just like join my team and, I'm looking for people to, join and go Ruby. It's like, no, people will take action based on how something makes them feel, emotion. This is why stories are so important. So, sharing your story, be vulnerable. I remember starting this business and having no money and having no time and feeling like, why would anybody want to join with me if I'm sitting here sharing that I'm joining this business because I have no time and no money. But the reality is people don't relate to success. People relate, I feel now more than ever, to the struggle. And they're looking for, like, I wanted my place or my social media, a place for somebody to be like, oh my gosh, me too. Like that same, like I feel that way. So I post in some way where I'm sharing my story, and I know, I don't want to say the pain points, but it is the pain points of who my ideal person is. And so as you grow in this business, your ideal person is going to change. When I started, it was the new mom, specifically railway wives that were looking at their husband going out the door every day. And what they didn't like about that was that they were away from their kids, watching their spouse, kill themselves with their job, going all the time, the feelings behind that. And then when we were traveling, my person kind of became, I'm looking for the person that is willing to work hard, but is looking for freedom. They want more options, and this is what it can do. So I think you have to know who you are, and you have to know this is the biggest thing, what solution you're offering to the problem that these people might have. right? So it's doing that consistently. I do a reel every single day telling my story. It never gets old. I tell my story all the time. This is what it comes down to with posting. Now with products, same thing, right? It's like, what are your products that you're talking about using? What are the ones you're comfortable with? Instead of saying, I've got aloe for $57, your post is going to be more of, hey, if you're dealing with this pain point problem, this is the solution, and telling it in a story, having it be like more of a story than I'm trying to sell you. Because again, people will read something and think them. They're not thinking you, and emotion is what will make people move. And it's doing that over and over and over and over again. That, like, everything that I'm going to tell you right now, it's not just doing it once, it's doing it consistently. The next thing is growing your network. So if you're in this business, you start with like a network that you've already built. You've either done the work before you join network marketing, or you're doing it after. Most people don't build a network before they join this. So every single day, you have to be tracking that you're getting more people in your network. And so when I started, it was like going into Facebook groups. And this kind of ties with the posting, because, for example, if I knew that I was a new mom wanting to be home with my kid, my pain point was watching my spouse who's working, all these shift works and, all these crazy nights and whatever, I knew that I was posting in that way. I also went into groups that were in relation to that and grew my network with those people. So I would search railway wife groups, and I would search by location. I live in Canada, but I was like Texas, New York. I was Googling railway like hubs, or whatever. And so then it's like all these different groups where I'm going in the groups, not talking about my business, not saying, hey, I see we're both railway wives. Are you interested? No, I was interacting genuinely in the groups, adding them to my page, where then now they're seeing my page and they don't even know that they have a problem that they're looking for a solution for. But when they see me talking about the problems that I had and the solution that I have, now that's where like it starts to go. Every day I message. I think that if your inbox isn't moving, that's the issue. Like, you have to be in new conversation all the time. So for me, it's, if someone likes my post, views my story, I keep it very simple. Hey, Steph, I just saw you like my post on the cleanse. I'm looking for one more person to try it. Is it okay if I send you the details? Host to post. I'm messaging for host to post. And I more focus with messaging on the process rather than the results. People get very like emotional if people aren't answering or leaving them on red. You just have to understand that messaging is like planting a seed. Some people are going to answer you right away. Some people will not. I didn't join for 3 years. I left her on red. I ignored her. I even said no. And so if you can start tracking your messaging, that your business is growing, right? So I would just commit to some form of that, whether that's just a reach out, whether that's a, hey, you liked my post, whether that's a, hey, would you host a post for me? Commit to a certain amount. And that's what I did ever since the beginning. Lastly is follow up. This is one thing I will tell you. I learned this recently. This is just one of my faults was follow up. Okay. So one of my faults was follow up. I counted on that people were just going to let me know, or, I was very loose with it. I would say I wasn't intentional. And then I realized, most of the work that you do should actually really be in follow up. If you're always just looking for new, you're like churning and burning. Like, the person that's most likely to buy from you is the person that's already bought from you, the person that you've talked to before that hasn't been ready. And 80% of sales are closed after the 12th contact. And so what I would recommend is having a book, and every day just track how many haps do you get up. I literally tally it. How many, write down your potentials. Like, who are the people that said yes to info? Who are the people that said yes to the opportunity? And so then as you build this business and you're staying consistent with those core 4, your leads list is growing. And it's like keeping the snowball moving, right? It's not focusing on that little ice chip where you started. It's just consistent growth. And so, it's the last thing I'll say is like having a daily checklist. Okay. For those people that are, maybe feeling overwhelmed with what to do, or they have life outside of this business. If you can get a checklist for yourself every day, this is like a non-negotiable. What do you have to commit to every day? For me, it's like a certain amount of stories. It's a certain amount of reels. It's a certain amount of messages. It's going through my like, work with your sponsor on what your goal is and where you're at in your business. But when you have a list, when you pick up your phone, what to do. I feel like a lot of people spend energy thinking about working or like thinking about getting to work. And that takes up just as much time as working. So if you're busy and you have a daily checklist, you can open it and say, boom, I got to get up 10 haps. Like I work my business in little increments, 10 minutes here, set an alarm. When it's done, put your phone down. But I think the biggest thing is just being willing to like move forward, even if you don't feel like you've got it all together, you know, even if you don't feel like it's perfect. People are like, oh, you know, I'm a perfectionist, so I'm going to wait till I'm perfect. Like, no, you're procrastinating. The skill is going to be in the action. So you might do something and make a complete fool of yourself, but you have to still be willing to move forward and like fail and learn. And that's, I think, the biggest thing that's brought us success is just action works. It's just doing the work. You either do it or you don't.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, that last 5 to 7 minutes was a freaking master class of an answer. So when this replay gets posted, go back and use that as your morning motivation for 5-7 minutes for like a week straight, and watch what happens to your business.
Yeah. I mean, I think, again, we say this almost every week. It's like people want the like magic dust of like, what do people do? What are they doing? And it's the decision, and it's getting the work, and it's not, they're not worried about it, what it looks like. If it's messy, it's messy. They just did it. And it's like, it's easy to say, oh, it's not right, or doesn't look good, and procrastination, and, oh, I'll do it later. Later never happens.
This was a quote that I wrote down this yesterday morning from Lou Brock. It says, show me a person who's afraid to look bad, and I'll show you a person you can beat every time.
Yeah, it's so true.
The person that's actually outdoing is outdoing the person that's thinking what everybody thinks they're going to look like, or they're going to look bad, or, oh my gosh, I don't know what they're going to say about the post that I'm about to post. Just post the dang post and watch how much money you make.
And I think that's what I love about you, Jacquie, is you just didn't care. You just get down to work and you just show up no matter what, where you're at, what you're doing. Like, you are so good at the video part of it. So she's doing the things, you guys. Like, that's the thing. Like, any of you get to make that decision. She didn't come from a network marketing company. She doesn't have, you know, somebody telling her what to do every day. She doesn't have like the magic pixie dust. What she has is the work ethic, the decision, the discipline, the idea that we all have. We can go Google what we want. That's another thing that I hear from top leaders or top earners is they don't wait, they go find, and they do it. They apply it. So she doesn't just look, she applied, apply. Like, that's what we should really be talking about. And, you know, I think, you know, if you were to say, okay, what do you think got you to where you were? What would it be, the core four? Do you think that's what it is?
You know what came to my head whenever you said that? You guys know that TikTok sound? It's like, what? It's like delusion. Literally. That's what I feel like. No, I think it's just a little bit of delusion, actually. Like, again, just, you know, that's a good question. Okay. I think it's obviously action, like just relentless, like knowing that if you don't take action, like no one's coming to save you. You know what I mean? No one's going to do it for you. Nobody's coming to save you. So that kind of lit me up a little bit. I get very like self-assessed with myself on what happens when I don't do it, because you guys, like, we're all human, you know, like there's been seasons, so many seasons, stuff that I've shared, things I haven't shared, things where I like literally have this, I'm like, man, can I do this? You know what I mean? Like, just like, it's really hard to explain, but anyone, you know, that's been building this business knows, like, you just have these moments, and, you know, you just have to lay it out for yourself. Like, okay, if I quit right now, what happens? Okay, I'm temporarily comfortable, or not even quit. People don't even quit in this business. They soft quit. They just stop doing the things. No one ever says they quit. If I choose to soft quit, because you either do it or you don't, what's going to happen? Well, I'm going to go back to the job I hate. Life will still be hard. My kids are still going to fight. I'm still going to have a messy house sometimes. Like, you know what I mean? So I assess it out. Like, nothing will happen that's good if I quit. I've watched people soft quit and then go to another company or and like literally they're right back in the same spot. So I'm very clear. If I don't do this, this is what I'm willing to give up. But then I look on the other side. If I see this through, if I believe I can do it, if I know that it's been done before through so many avenues, through so many people, this industry is amazing. what can that potentially give me? And like, it's just, I will never quit. Like, I will never, you just have to stand back up. So it's knowing what you're giving up. If you don't, I guess, isn't the other thing. Being resilient, you know, you have to be resilient. Like, you are going to have somebody that tells you something that you don't like to hear. You are going to have somebody do you dirty. Like, I've been like, I'm like, like, you know, like, you are just going to have things happen that you can't control. People are going to say something to you that is so sideways that you can't even believe, like, who raised you? You know, you are going to have life happen outside of this business where you just feel like it's a fight to show up. Like, so I think that, you know, what has got us here is just literally like knowing that you're going to get punched in the face 10 times and you're going to stand up 11. But isn't that with anything in life? Let's say you don't do a business or you don't do like, you know, I've had the worst days at serving. I've had the worst days being a parent. I've had the worst, you know, and it's just like, okay, welcome to life. So it's almost just having that like talk with yourself that you can be a victim. And you know what? The traumas that we go through, they're very real. Like, you are probably very, like, what's the word I'm looking for? You're very, oh my gosh, what's that word? Like, it would be understandable why some of us would fall victim to the things that we've gone through, because they're awful and it's life, and like, we can feel it. But sometimes we just need to remember, like, you get to choose. Perspective is everything. And I just look at, like, there are people going through so much worse things than I am that have stood up. And I just don't think that laying down and accepting anything that we don't like will ever give us what we want, regardless of if it's business. And so I think just having the understanding that anything that's worth having is going to be hard. You can overcome anything. And what you think and how you know, what it's like, what you become, what you think about, you become. And so if you think you're going to fail, you will fail. If you think that everyone's going to think you're in a pyramid scheme, you're going to be in a pyramid scheme. If you think that everyone's going to quit on you, you're going to quit. If you think that you can't, you won't. But if you think, and you're like, man, all the, like, this is why getting to Zooms is so important, because you listen to one person and you're like, man, if that girl can do it, or if that guy can do it, I can do it. And so you just get to choose. And sometimes it's really hard, but you can. And I think that's, you know, social media will make you think that other people have it easy and it's a highlight reel you see, but just remember, like, it's a highlight reel and you literally can do anything you set your mind to. That sounds so, like, you know, but you can do anything you set your mind to.
And it's just that, you guys, you got to program yourself. Again, I think she said something so kind of just off radar without even saying it, is she shows up to Zooms. She's showing up to the things to fill her cup, to feel, because we're going to get beat up. We're going to be told no, we're going to have these roadblocks, but you've got to surround yourself with people that are doing, seeing it, going through. You're constantly hearing not just the same people on these Zooms. Like, I could get on every single week and just share every single day, single time, but I want you to constantly see that anybody can do this, and there's success all over the world with this. And so I think it's so important to see that and to continue to stay the course on, like, okay, we got to get on the Zooms to hear, oh, what are they doing? And most of the time it's the same things. Like, you feel it's a little tweaks here and there or whatever, but it's really pretty much the same things over and over.
Here's the magic dust. Get on the Zooms to hear that everybody's doing the same thing. Just realize that the people that are talking on the Zooms are just doing a lot more of it than you are.
Yeah. Like, they just made the
start
choice.
Doing a lot more, and you'll be the one talking on the Zoom. That's how it works.
And we just don't know when that magic light bulb's going to go over for somebody. Jacquie could have just said that. I feel like she did. Like, there's light bulbs going off for people. And that's exactly what we want for you. It's like, you just never know when that moment is going to be. And hopefully, you know, all of you make that moment happen right now. Because for me, Joel said this the other day and on a Zoom, and I love this. It was a good reminder, because I was talking to a couple people about this.
Something good.
Yeah. This is separator season. And I love this time of the year. This is when it's easy to get kind of lazy and be like, well, you know, people don't have the money to buy this, or they don't want to spend the money on themselves, or why would they want to do the business now? You need to dig in now. This is when I see people coming in and they can learn how to do host to post. They can learn and they can take their before and after pictures. They can start taking the product, because guess what happens the day after Christmas? Everybody wants to lose weight. They want to get healthy and they want to make money. So why aren't you speaking about that in such a way like you need to get in now? You need to get your products now. You need to get as a customer, because right now we have amazing Black Friday sales, right? Like we need to be sharing all of that and all the excitement. So this is my favorite time of year because it is separator season. So if you want to have this massive growth in your business, you need to do the work more so than you think that you need to do, because you are going to set yourself up for a huge 2024. So if you're already having a great year, you're going to have a really huge 2024. If you're like, I want more, then you're going to do more to have yourself this huge 2024, right? So Jacquie, I know I asked you like, okay, we got the Black Friday sales and, you know, we're coming into the end of the year. How are you utilizing kind of the Black Friday sale or the builder bonuses or these bonuses with not only yourself, but your team?
So, okay. So the Black Friday and just enrolling in general. Okay. I'll tell you, I made this shift, I think right around when the CEO summit was like, you know, announced or whatever. I was like, okay, I got to get tracking, you know, I got to build like, just get better at organization, whatever. And so when it comes to the Black Friday sale, we've been able to maximize on it so well because of the leads we've already created. And so the good news is if you're like, I don't have that, you can start that now because it's going to be even bigger in January, but it's follow up. It's follow up. It's spending most of your time following up, but also being very loud about what you have your hands on. Don't be the person that's like, oh, I posted about it once and like, they'll just know. No, you need to like insert yourself in front of them all the time. Like I used to work, I don't know if Renee is on here, but I used to work at this helicopter. Like we used to, you know, the people in the mall, the kiosk people, that was me. That was me. So people would walk by and I'd be like, hey, you dropped something. And they'd be like, what? And I'd be like, your smile, come on over. Oh, there she is. And then they would come on over. And I'm like, oh my God. And they would have never come on over if you didn't say you dropped your smile, get on over here. And so it made me realize like, you have to put yourself in front of people. They're not searching you. Oh yeah, you stepped in it. Stepped in what? The fun zone. That was our other one. Yes. Okay. You have to put yourself in front of people. Listen, if you can do that job, you can do anything, I feel like. But you have to put yourself in front of people. So how? What you do. It's like your content and your conversations. So content, go live about the promo. Like do it every day. You know what I mean? Go in your story every day. Social proof. This is the other thing. If you want to sell more products, it's showing social proof. Social proof is other people's testimonies, written and photos, putting this in the comments of your photos. Basically like thinking of it as herd mentality. People want to do what other people are doing. So when you can show over and over and over again, hear all the testimonies, which I have that board, which I'll send you after stuff. It has a board called social proof. And for each product, it's just written testimonies, blocked out the name so you can use all these, but it's sharing that over and over and over and over again. Be so repetitive with it. So your content, put more out, do more, like commit. I mean, if your goal is diamond or above, like just commit to a certain amount of content a day, whether that's reels, haps, you know, things that you can go back and now work with. If you get up 5 reels a day, you can go back and work with those reels and the leads that come in from it. If you do 10 haps a day, you can go back and work with those leads. You're going to have things to work with. Whereas if you're not doing that, you have nothing to work with and it's not compounded. You do that for 90 days, you could literally go diamond. But the other part is the follow-up. This is what I was like circling back to whenever I said I changed with CEO like with the CEO thing. I just was like, okay, get it into a better system. Most of the sales that I get come from follow-up in some way, whether that's writing their name down saying, hey, I know we spoke about this. You weren't ready. Here's a Black Friday sale, like just being genuine, or it's going back through Messenger where people have left me on red. So like the actual act of following up in my Messenger. Hey, did my last message come through? You know, people get in this mindset where if it's a no or it's an ignore, it's done. It's not done. That's a seed that you planted. It is up to you to take care of the seed. And so that could be checking in with them like, hey, I just, you know, whatever, right? Like interacting on their page. If you shift your mindset to most of your time being follow-up, it's almost a game, because then like, honestly, I hate host to post. Like I don't like messaging. I mean, I don't hate it, but I don't love it. I'm not like, oh, this is so fun, but I love what it does. And so when you can focus on follow-up, you get more excited to do all the other things. Like I want to get up 30 host to post today, every day. Like I'm getting at least 20 because I'm loving the act of the follow-up, because I'm seeing that when I treat this seriously, all of my enrollments are coming from this. And so that's how we're kind of utilizing it. And then, I look at things as fishing lines in the water. If you make one post today, everything's a numbers game. If you make one post today, you're going to reach a certain amount of people, which is fine. But I know that if I do 5 posts today, I'm going to have more lines in the water. And I almost thought about not saying this because I feel like it will scare some people off. Like, oh, I just got to do more. But it's like, yeah, you do more, you will have more to work with. And if you have more, if you have more leads, those leads turn into sales. If you have more people in your network, there's more people watching your stuff. More than likely, you're going to get more. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's almost like scaling your own business. Like, what can you do to scale? As far as working with the team, I think it's just, showing people what you're doing. If you want to duplicate, just give them something to duplicate. Like, I want my team to look at my page and know how to work this business. They know, that's how we learned this business. We watched everybody on YouTube and looked at their posts on social media. So I think your team will do your team will do a portion of what you do for the most part. Not everyone, obviously, but go do the most and have them copy you and have them do the same things. I don't love sitting in chats all day. Like, I just work my business and show them how to work how I'm working my business. And then, little systems that you can create. Like, maybe you make a reel and you're able to share that with your team. Like, you take the watermark off here, post this, like, just leading from the front, I guess is my short answer.
Yeah. If you're my twin, like, we're just not a lot of fluff. We're like, we just get it down, head down, and just do the things. Some people need a little extra fluff. That's okay. Right now, I need the fat fighters for my extra fluff coming up. We have all the tools that you guys need. It's just, again, it comes down to whether you guys decide to or not. And I believe that we need to set that bar high. I expect greatness from this team. I expect you all to want more freedom, more money to do what you want. Like, it feels good. Money doesn't need to be like a bad thing. It is an amazing tool for every single one of you. It just gives you so much freedom to have whatever you want to have, and gives you so many more opportunities. I love what Joel said, that this really is down to, this business is a math problem. Like, your success is a math problem. And Jackie, you hit that right, nailed it right there with, most people don't want to hear, oh, you got to do more work. I'm sorry. That is the truth. That is absolutely anytime people say, what did I do? And I'm like, most people wouldn't do what I did. So if you really want to do what I did, it wasn't easy. It was being away from my family. It was door knocking because I didn't have social media, which sounds so crazy. So could you imagine that? Going to strip malls and going into places and actually talking to people. I didn't have any of those cool little slogans that she said, like, I dropped your smile.
I was the,
well, you were the person.
I was the event person at the expos. Those were all my lines.
But there's so many things in making the decision. You gave us so many just little bullet points of like what to do. And here's the thing, you guys, is there's so many small businesses out there. I love this time of year. You can help somebody else out and they can help you out. So a couple of things that I love doing this time of the year is putting out there, who else has a small business that I can support? Drop that in the comments, because then they're more likely to do something for you. So if you have some Christmas shopping to do and somebody does Pampered Chef, maybe you guys swap. They buy from you, you buy from them. I usually get quite a few customers that way because I am willing to do some of that. So that's one of the things. And I don't know if you've had success with this, Jackie, but I put this in our team page the other day, is if you go into your chats, go into Facebook, and you can put the little note up there. It is crazy the amount of people that see the note, and you're going to see the top people that show up in there are people with notes. So do you want to be the person that they see in your friends list? So I can go through and see, like my note, like I put $800 work from phone opportunity. I want to draw attention to who's looking to make money. So that's something to look at. But everybody, the first, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like you'll see all people with notes before anybody else. So I would do that every 24 hours, do something in the note. And I mean, I've dropped those in the team pages before and you guys can see that. So if you need help, like, what do I put? Something that draws attention, like a BOGO, like, what do you have to offer? What is the solution? So people are looking to make money right now. Well, I'm going to talk about having some money, but we could go on and on. But Jacquie, I appreciate you so, so much. Like, your fire that you bring, your authenticity, you're just willing to learn. I think I made up a word there, but
how about your no BS-ness?
Yeah. I think that's the thing, is sometimes people just want to sugarcoat everything, when I'm like, no, I didn't just get dropped to the number 1 position because it happened. It's because of work, consistent work, willing to pivot, willing to try new things, willing to always be a constant learner and getting out there. And that's exactly what you are, Jacquie, and willing to share. There's plenty of fish in the sea for all of us. And so I think that you guys just need to be loud, set your bar high, set your expectations more than what you believe, because you're going to knock it out of the park with all of these golden nuggets that Jacquie just shared. So first off, thank you again, Jacquie. I just love you. I appreciate you so much taking the time to do this for us. And you guys, it's Thanksgiving. It's Thanksgiving week for us in the States. And so, I'm just super grateful for you guys, for your willingness to want to show up, week after week, wanting to better your life. So enjoy your family, enjoy that time. Don't forget what we have to offer them. Like, this is gift season. You could potentially change somebody's life. So why wouldn't we want to be sharing about that? So make sure you guys do that and have an awesome, awesome week. And then we will see you next week, Monday. I love you guys. Have a good week.
See you guys.